What's up, my Omi homies and fellow NFT collectors? Today we're going to attempt to stay one step ahead of everybody else and come up with a good buying strategy over the next couple of months as the MTL approaches, as well as Immutable X transition. MTL stands for Money Transfer License, and it's going to allow VeVe users the ability to cash out their gems to fiat. And in anticipation of this, a lot of users are expecting prices on the market to fall, and they began buying and selling with that in mind. But if you look ahead a little further, we know that the next catalyst is the Immutable X transition. And when that happens, the first NFTs that we're going to be able to take off the platform are the Artist Alley NFTs. Now, we've already seen a couple of months ago where VeVe and the artists themselves confirmed this, and that caused a spike in prices of some of the NFTs that were already on the app by artists like Kosic. And so as MTL approaches, and even as it arrives, if you see some prices fall in the marketplace, we're going to take advantage of that by investing in these artist NFTs. And then as Immutable X transition approaches, those NFTs will begin to rise in price, and we can either hold on to them until interoperability occurs, or we can sell them when they're high and go after some of the IP NFTs that we want to buy, like maybe a Todd McFarlane Batman or a Secret Rare Spider-Man. So in order to take advantage of this trend we expect to see in the next coming months, let's take a look at some of the artists on the app and figure out which ones are the most popular so we know which ones we should invest in. If you look at the Twitter followers of all the artists that are on VeVe, you can see that Mr. Cartoon is way ahead of everybody, and Mcpherson is second, followed by Frank Kosic, Jim Mafood, and Tristan Eaton. When it comes to NFTs, Twitter is certainly important, but when it comes to art in general, the platform you want to look at is Instagram. So I took a look at the followers for the artists that are on VeVe on Instagram, and you can see that once again Mr. Cartoon is way ahead, and followed by him you have Tristan Eaton and Ron English, and again Mcpherson. So since Mr. Cartoon is by far at the top of the list, he's the first artist I want to look at. He's a very famous tattoo artist, and this character he developed, the Cat Bronson, is very interesting because they've already set up a Facebook page for Cat Bronson. He has his own Instagram page, and a lot of people don't know this, but Topps actually put out a 2020 project card of the Cat Bronson that's super hard to find. I've only been able to find one anywhere on the internet, and it's selling for $250 on eBay. So with such a popular character from such a popular artist, this is a character that's actually on a lot of people's tattoos. This is a great investment, I think. It's one that I don't own. Unfortunately, it might be out of my price range already. But for people that are looking to invest whenever MTL hits and some of these prices go down, this might be one you want to look at picking up. The next most popular VeVe artist on Instagram is, of course, Mr. Ron English, who we all know well. He's been on the app for quite a while with the Serial Killers NFTs. And back in June in one of my videos, I pointed out that Mr. English had joined one of our VeVe Facebook groups and that we were doing a Q&A session with him and asking him some questions. And there's something very interesting that he said during that Q&A back in June. He was asked, who would you love to collaborate with in the future? And his answer was, VeVe is looking to do something with Steve Aoki and myself collaborating. And if you don't know, Steve Aoki is a musician who's been working on NFTs for a while now, and it's possible that this collaboration could end up with a music NFT, because they've said recently that there's going to be some new NFTs that we haven't seen before on the app. And we know right now that Steve Aoki is collaborating with Ron English, that itself could end up being one of the first music NFTs. Also, Ron English recently confirmed that he was working on an NFT that was a gold and silver rabbit for VeVe, and we know that the rabbit grin has been teased from Ron English recently, so we expect to see that on the app pretty soon too. And the next artist I want to look at is Tristan Eaton, who also has a lot of followers on Instagram, and she has some really big commissions in the past. If you look on her website, you can see that she was commissioned by the Obama administration back in 2008, the Los Angeles Dodgers, Starbucks, Marvel, SpaceX, and even the Super Bowl. So that's one you want to keep in mind as well, because her stuff really sells out fast and she's a very popular artist on the app. One of the most popular VeVe artists on Instagram is Mcpherson, and she created some of the 2D art that we see on the app. And if you're like me, you probably believe that 2D art is very undervalued. We've seen 2D movie posters in the past on the app, but we haven't seen art before in 2D form, and I think people are sleeping on these a little bit. So I wanted to break down the 2D artists that we have and their Instagram followers, because these are some that you may want to look at purchasing, especially with the scarcity that they have. And you can see Mcpherson has the most Instagram followers, followed by Jim Mafood, who did the Pop Life art with only 666 editions. And then Brian Viveros is right behind Mr. Mafood, and followed by Cozy and Dan. And what's interesting about Cozy and Dan's NFT is that the rare was used by musician John Mayer as album cover art. So that's technically the first album cover art that's hit the VeVe app. Next up, you got Frank Kosic, who is one of the most popular VeVe artists on Twitter, and he also has a large following on Instagram and on OpenSea already as well. And you can see that his Labbits in the past have started off low and then gained in value over time as people started to realize that with interoperability, his are some of the first NFTs that we're probably going to be able to sell at places like OpenSea. And you can see the same thing with the NFTs dropped by Jermaine Rogers. The bunnies have gone up in value over time and became more popular, and he also recently released the Creeping Dero, which he noted, "Congrats to all those who scored, you'll be glad you did, there's more to come." So that's another interesting tidbit that came along with that NFT. Maybe it could lead to an airdrop in the future, who knows, but it's one you might want to look at investing in, especially if prices go down when MTL starts. The next three most popular VeVe artists on Instagram are Camille Rose Garcia, Luke Chu, and Sket1. So those are some other people you might want to look at investing in. I think it's going to be smart to pick up some of these artist NFTs as MTL approaches and then maybe sell them back. The transition to Immutable X gets close. So keep that in mind, and thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.